So this video is just a little bit of a rant about over the years people's little compartmental compartmentalization of musical genres as far as labels, as far as people go. And what I mean by that is just a little story from high school that I feel like I want to talk about. So I went to an alternative high school. This is back when metal was not nearly as ubiquitous as far as people saying they like one or two metal bands here and there as it is now. So basically, back in those times, people had really kind of a divided opinion about metal, and this was the 90s. So people really hated, or pretended to hate, which is something I'm going to get to, metal music. And associated with the 80s and associated with hair metal and all this shit. As an aside, it really took me years to like any hair metal, or admit to liking any hair metal, I should say. After all, like some of my first music I liked, some of the first air guitar I liked, or I played was Bon Jovi. So I would say the metal thing is like, well, I mean, you can have people just, I mean, people in the alternative subcultures in the 90s and even now have a snooty opinion about metal a lot of the time. And it's really difficult to explain, to people and to normal people what metal is sometimes, what it represents or what it talks about. So one thing that bothered me back in the day is I heard this word, Hesher, and I had never heard it before, and I heard it in high school, and it was a derogatory term for like just a degenerate old metalhead dude, with a Camaro on his front lawn, like a old rundown Camaro on his front lawn, and it's maybe he lives in a trailer, maybe it's a house, or it's his mom's basement, and he has a mullet and like fucking those, what are the jeans, a pair of jeans that's like, I mean, all torn up, and whatever, jean jacket, alcoholic, all that stuff. So the first time I heard that was in high school. I don't know if it was sophomore year or junior year, but and it really bothered me because I had thought at the time that I didn't care. I really care about labels even back then. I was into metal, but I was also into punk music and some what's called alternative, or some of the gothic rock stuff or whatever, or some of the prog. I was into prog rock or whatever, Pink Floyd or whatever. So basically, when people said, "Oh, it's just Hesher music," or that's not cool, metal's not cool, I was just like, but I like a lot of the same bands you do as far as punk goes. Why the fuck am I different than you just because I still listen to these bands, some of these other bands? I mean, who the fuck died and made you like the arbiter of good taste with everything? That just really bothered me, and it really made me think that people just really did not have a grasp on reality with all these little labels and these little subclassifications. And the Hesher label bothered me. And people called some of my friends Heshers. I had this guy say, "Oh, he's such a Hesher." Yeah. And you know what? The motherfucker's actually an attorney now. This motherfucker. The guy that he called the Hesher is, So I mean, what's that guy doing nowadays? I don't know. Probably not much. But fuck that guy. It's like, so I mean, just these labels and the Hesher labels just really bother me. I mean, I primarily got into metal music in a lot of ways because of the lyrics. Because the lyrics resonated with me. You know, like Iron Maiden's, like you know, they have these lyrics about, you know, based on 18th century poetry. You know, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. You know, Revelations about Aleister Crowley, but you know, just I mean, just different things like that, and they just like explored a lot of different topics, a lot of different ideas, and it always really pissed me off, the Hesher label. It's like, oh, it's just a bunch of dumb crap, you know, and punk or alternative is so much better and high and mighty and unpretentious. It's like that Henry Rollins, Bruce Dickinson comedy bit you can probably find on YouTube. He's making fun. I mean, he's making fun of Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden. I actually like that to some extent. I used to hate Henry Rollins for hating Iron Maiden or whatever, even though that's the irony, is I was really into Henry Rollins. I mean, I have like half of his books from back in the day, and you know, I was really into that stuff. And so the whole point is that I just wanted to make a little video about this. I was just thinking about it a little bit the other day, and I really don't care, you know, about these labels. Like, if you're into metal, and the thing that bothers me too is that metal's more accepted. So people come out and say, you know, oh, I love that band. It's like, well, back in whenever you were like saying it was Hesher music, it was shitty fucking white trash music or whatever. Oh, now Iron Maiden's accepted by everybody. It's like back then they were just, you know, they played clubs for a while in the 90s. So it's like, it just really bothers me, just the gall that people have. So, of course, if I point out the hypocrisy of some of the people now that are coming back to metal after years, then that's just something that I want to do sometimes, because it just pisses me off, because I was kind of castigated for liking metal at the time. So that's all for this video. I just thought I'd throw this out there as far as labels and people talking about people who are into a style of music as a, you know, looking down upon them. I mean things that were acceptable back then. So I'll give you an example. As far as like what the punk alternative people were acceptable. Oh, the early Black Sabbath was, but when you got to Dio, that's just Hesher music. Except for, you know, the irony that Henry Rollins and Greg Ginn, Black Flag, were listening to Dio, Black Sabbath albums on their, you know, on their tour bus. But, you know, that's just Dungeons and Dragons escapism. We got to talk about bourgeois reality. That's basically what it boils down to. And rebelling against progressive rock, or rebelling against heavy metal lyrics being escapism or whatever. You always have to talk about reality and politics and the social whatever. So I don't know. But that's all. You know, I'm over it. I just wanted to get that out there. If anybody still, you know, if anybody thinks I'm a Hesher for liking metal, or unintelligent or something, fuck off. Just stick it up your ass. You know, I don't listen to that shit anymore. I mean, I don't listen to the people bashing heavy metal anymore. Half the people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They might have had one metal album and stereotyped everything from that. But anyways, that's it.